welcome to the First Fucking Us podcast.
Please excuse me for my begging plea. Can't you see my darling, please understand my existential neurosis. Existential neurosis. Nietzsche knew and Kierkegaard too. So did Albert Camus. Existential neurosis. There is a hole in my soul. There's a hole in my soul. Existential neurosis.
Why am I here? Anyway, here I am, first podcast, making it, live, kicking it, live, doing it, jive, all right, getting ready to go on the show. Yeah, this is it. So, first take right now. This is what's going on. I'm learning how to use this software. I'm learning how to use this blog. I'm learning how to do all of this stuff. So you guys will have to bear with me a little bit, but I promise you, this is going to be some kick-ass stuff. And you know what? It's going to be fucking cool. That's F-U-K-N, as in future kinetic, energy yet to come, cool. I don't know where to start. I'll tell you what, I am in the beautiful state of Hawaii. I'm probably the luckiest man in the world for many, many reasons. And I'll just share a little bit of what I got going on with you now and then, here and there, everywhere if you want. You know what, for right now, I don't know exactly what to give you for this first podcast. I'm still figuring out how to do this stuff. So I'm going to read you the first chapter of my book. It's called Slackville Road. It's one of a few books that I've written. I've talked about them on the blog, and this one's called Slackville Road. It's in progress. I thought it was done at one point, but it's not. It's in progress. So let me just get to that. I'll read it for you guys, maybe just the first couple pages. If you like it, email me, tell me you want more. I'll give you more. I'll probably give you more anyway. Without further ado, here we go. Early influences. Flesh and blood role models were hard to find when I was growing up. Good ones, anyway. And that's probably why I turned out the way I did and ended up doing what I've done. No one really knows exactly what happened, well, except for me and my best friend Ricky. Ricky's long gone now, though, and I can only write about it from the confines of my cell. But I seem to be getting ahead of myself. Let me start at the beginning, otherwise you'll never understand why prison isn't the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Once upon a time in a small Hawaiian town, I was a child among the privileged, yet I still was able to come to the realization that most of the adults around me were fucked up. Make that all of the adults. I don't mean just the adults in Hawaii, I mean all of the adults in the entire United States, maybe all of the adults in the world. My parents, for example, they were miserable. They tried to escape their misery in a non-stop roller coaster ride of fucking fighting and pretending that everything was going to be alright. Beautiful strangers would sleep over at our beautiful beach house in beautiful Hawaii, and wild parties with blue and red colored lights strung across the lanai, framing the swaying hips of drunken hula, and everything in the world seeming wonderful as my brother and I hoped that the inevitable call to go to bed wouldn't come, but it always did, as the adults moved closer together with Mom in the hands of a new uncle and Dad wandering down the beach with some lithesome auntie. As a kid in Hawaii, every adult becomes uncle or auntie, even for the haole kids like us. We'd go to bed with everything in the world seeming right, and the sounds of slack key guitar kissing us goodnight, but morning would be different. Uncle and Auntie would usually be gone by the time we woke up. Mom would be snappish, and of course Dad would be gone too. By the time he returned, the fighting would begin. Free love didn't seem to have anything to do with love, just a lot of hurt people with no one to blame for all the failed experiments. The parties at my parents' house had lots of drugs, lots of swingers, and lots of polyester, and there didn't seem to be much else, nothing that lasted anyway. When I was 6 years old, I learned how to read. Like most kids in America in the 70s, my favorite publication was Highlights magazine at the dentist's office. You remember Highlights, right? It was filled with those morality lessons that religious people want kids to experience. I still remember empathizing with Goofus as he got the short end of the stick in his relations with his goody two-shoes brother, Gallon. In one cartoon story, he grabbed the biggest cookie off the plate, and it ended up tasting like dog shit, while Gallon's little cookie ended up tasting like manna from heaven. The moral was that smaller portions taste better. Most of America's fat asses should have listened to that lesson, although I think it was more a matter of humility than diet. Leave the bigger pieces for those that deserve them. I figured if there was shit in the batter, it got in all the cookies, and I hated Gallon, the first of many uptight, pompous, self-righteous Christians that I would learn to detest. Our neighbor, who we kids called the preacher lady, had found salvation through Jesus and the Jehovah's Witnesses. She tried her best to recruit the whole neighborhood, and it seemed to be working out for her until one day when everyone came outside to witness a fire in her front yard and her daughter pleading for her to stop doing what she was doing. "They are possessed by Satan," the preacher lady screamed as she threw Barbie, Ken, Dazzle, and dozens of other dolls into the fire, and noticing that a crowd had gathered, she tried to explain, "She worships these dolls more than she worships Jehovah. It's because of the evil demons that live in them. We must burn Satan and his minions out of our lives." She said she was exorcising demons, but no one else thought she should have burned all of her daughter's dolls. Not that anyone tried to stop her. In those days, parents could raise their children however they wanted. As for me, I wasn't real sure about the whole religion thing. It seemed like Jesus wanted you to fight for what you believed in. But all the people that claimed to believe in Jesus and follow him didn't seem to get that. I wanted to find out about God, though, so I asked my parents if I could go to church. They said yes, but I'd have to go alone. They weren't interested, and that was okay with me. A brightly painted school bus would pick me up every Sunday morning, and they would drop me off in the afternoon, and it was sort of fun. They would read us stories, have us make drawings, and tell us about the Bible. And when I asked serious questions, though, they always laughed and got nervous. They never answered. Like if I asked, "If we're supposed to love our enemies, should we love the devil? He's our enemy, right?" No explanation except, "Well, that's not what Jesus meant by that." I was confused. Why would he say it if he didn't mean it? Maybe the devil wasn't really my enemy after all. Was that what he was saying? I'd ask if God wrote the Bible in English, and they would tell me he wrote it in all languages. Well, that was pretty cool. How did he do it? When I asked why God killed everyone but his son, preached forgiveness, they told me that God was different than Jesus. Then 2 minutes later, they told me that Jesus and God were the same. And finally, I figured out that they were crazy. They didn't know anything at all. So I quit asking them questions, and I stopped paying attention, and Sunday school became fun again. The old people. There was no drawing, no stories, just the preacher up there telling everyone how bad they were, and sometimes some of the old ladies would stand up and start babbling and dancing, and it looked fun. They were supposed to be filled with the Holy Spirit, who was also supposed to be God and Jesus. I figured they were faking it because they wanted attention. Everyone fawned all over them after the service. I figured they were faking. I mean, I could fake it. If they caught me, I would know it was real and start to pay attention. If they didn't catch me, I would never come back. So midway through the preacher's sermon, I stood up and started kicking my heels about like the devil had possessed me. I screamed out babbling that sounded like the old ladies babbling and spun myself around in circles, and finally when I was tired, I fell to the floor, and it was more fun than anything I'd ever done in church. At the end, the whole congregation stood around me, talking about how the Spirit had possessed me, and when the preacher asked me how it felt to be possessed by God, I got up, left the church, and walked home, because even at a young age, I hated people that fooled themselves. And that's it, guys. That's the first Fucking Us podcast, brought to you by me, Chris Demiscio, at fucking.us. That's fucking us. Who's fucking us? I'm fucking us. And you know what? You might be fucking us too. But if you're fucking us, if I'm fucking us, there's nobody fucking us quite like George Bush is fucking us. So let's remember that, and I'll see you next time.
Unchecked power is the foundation of tyranny.
My country is of thee, sweet land of liberty. What has happened to thee? One's only of the brave. What of the lives they gave? What has happened to thee? America's a holocaust in. Everybody's waiting for the next disaster to begin. Will it be natural or man-made? Maybe it's just karma being repaid. My country is of thee, sweet land of liberty. What has happened to thee? Once land of the world's dreams, those days are gone now it seems. Oh, what has happened to thee? Now we got that curious George W. Nobody knows just what that monkey is going and still playing with the things of war. Every soldier should ask himself, just what are they fighting for? My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. What has happened to thee? Once protector of the rights of man, human life now in a garbage can. No, what has happened to thee? America is a scientist gone mad. Took for granted everything that we ever had. Now we begin our sharp decline. Already betrayed our own hearts and minds. In my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. What has happened to thee? All's home of the brave. What of the lives they gave? What has happened to thee? America is a holocaust, yeah. Everybody's waiting for the next world war to begin. Will we start it? Of course we will. Maybe George Bush just looking for another presidential thrill. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. My country, 'tis of thee.